so desire to come up, I'm going to take the first question from my co-chair, Senator Taylor, and then we'll open up to the rest of the members there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to ask the board members if they would comment on what has just transpired here, and if they have a position on it, and if they, what their intentions are.
Do we have, is the chair of the board here? If she was here last time, the chair, right? Okay, yes, ma'am. Ms. Nichols, is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, what?
You want me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Well, I would just be curious to know what has just transpired here. What, if you know, what the board's, I mean, is this conditional on the board's acceptance, or what is the board's position on this?
It certainly would be on condition of the board's acceptance of this resignation, but, you
The
know.
board does not know at this time whether or not you'll wait till the end of the year when that will be. I guess that'll be something to be worked out.
We have, the next call board meeting will be December the 8th, but I'm fairly sure we will have a meeting before that time to deal with this matter.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Jeffries, you recognize.
Ms. Nichols, I want to ask you a question, if I may, about when it was that the Board of Trustees liberalized their travel policy, out-of-state travel policy within the past year. When did that occur?
The February board meeting, the February 08 board meeting.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. Okay.
How many members of the Board of Trustees are there?
There's 15 members on the board.
And how many of them are elected by the membership of the Teachers of Arkansas?
11.
11. And the other 4 are ex officio members due to the fact that they are people like the state auditor, state treasurer, etc.
Thank you, Commissioner, Department of Ed.
Okay. Do you recall what particular incentive was, or the reason to ask for this liberalized travel policy?
Yes, I do. The National Council on Teacher Retirement offers 3 conferences per year. The National Conference, which was just recently held in Washington, D.C., a trustees conference that's held at the end of July. It's just for trustees. And then the Southern Conference on Teacher Retirement that is just for the southern region of the United States that we all attend. Conferences now are offered constantly. I get one in the mail at least once a week. The NCTR conferences are strictly for teachers. I attended one December of 07 that was a public funds. It was a conference that wasn't just for teachers. There were city governments, there were fire departments, there were lots of other pension fund trustees there. Sometimes when you narrow your view of when you go to conferences and all you hear is what other teacher conference or other teacher funds are doing, then that's all you hear. So I think sometimes it's good to go outside the box and hear what other people are doing. Not like teachers, you know, if I only go to library meetings, that's all I hear. Sometimes I want to go to technology conferences. So I think sometimes if we go outside the box and hear what other pension funds are doing, it helps us grow as a trustee.
And you say this policy was liberalized back in, did you say February of this year?
February of 07. Or 08, I'm sorry. February of 08.
This year, okay. Do you recall what the board vote was when this was brought up?
It was unanimous, I believe.
Unanimous? Okay. Well, it's been brought to my attention that since this policy was liberalized, that 3 of the trustees have thus far, already claimed the maximum number of excursions out of state, which is 4. Is that correct? 4, is that what the policy calls for?
For conferences, yes, sir.
And that at least two have claimed more than 4 that's already allowed.
Okay, those were not conferences. I attended, okay, let's go back. I attended a conference Oklahoma City. And then I attended a conference, the Southern, okay, but then in May, I believe, the firm was looking for a new consulting firm. And so Mr. Doane suggested that some of the board members go out on this due diligence to interview the consulting firm. We had 3 firms that we were looking at. One firm was a very small firm, one firm was a very, very large firm, and then the firm that we were currently using. One morning we got up, we flew to St. Louis, we interviewed a company. That afternoon we got on a plane, flew back to Chicago, interviewed a company.
So what does the policy specifically, okay, what does the policy specifically speak to? Does it allow you to travel to 4 conferences or just to travel to out-of-state 4 times?
4 conferences.
4 conferences, okay. Well, I believe that currently 5 of the trustees that are currently sitting there have expended 85% of this $50,000 travel that's already occurred. So it would look to me as if, you know, there's an extreme amount of travel being done by just a small number of the trustees. Would you have any comment on that?
It's the trustees' option to go to the conferences or not to attend the conferences. Personally, I believe that attending conferences helps me grow as a trustee. I have made friends, and I know that the chair of the board for the California Teachers Association, if I need something and she's got that resource, I can call her directly. I know that the chair of the Fairfax County's teacher retirement system, if I need to know if there's a manager that they've hired that they've had trouble with or that they're extremely satisfied, I can call them. There's so many contacts that I've made by going to these conferences that are so helpful to me as a trustee. Not only that, but when I attend these meetings and I get to ask questions and I get to hear speakers and bring back, you know, almost more than the airlines will allow me to pack in my suitcase of brochures that I can go back and reread, because as a library media specialist, research is my middle name, and I love to research and I love to learn.
Well, I can appreciate that, and I understand that concept very much.
And as far as I know, there's not many conferences in Arkansas for me to attend to do this.
Have there been any travel by the board of trustees that are paid for by other entities other than the Teacher Retirement Board, for example, some of the money managers, have they paid for trips that y'all have taken?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, thank you for right now.
Thank you, Senator Jeffers. Representative Sanford, you recognize.